BETT, bass fishing at its best. Is proudly brought to you by Jacini Tiger Lodge, the Kariba of South Africa. By mid-morning of this last BETT KZN qualifying event, competitors are divided. Half the field boast 5 fish limits, whilst the remaining half struggle. Many teams are desperate to boat an above-average limit that may secure their place in the top 10 and the KZN Classic. Currently 17th, Howard and Rob of Team Kistler, Fisher Bay past the bridge. Fighting the strong winds, Team Kistler search for a limit.
Good one.
Yeah.
Hold it. Bad will do. I'm scared it's going to cut you off. Can you hear that?
Yeah. Yes, please.
That's the one you caught last week.
That's the one we got last week.
Looking for late spawners. We started a little bit slower than I wanted to this morning, but we managed to get a 2 kilo first thing. Then Rob got a weigher. The boys were assaulting our spot big time, so we decided to leave. We moved on to these shelving banks. There's some little drops and rocks and bits and bobs here. And that bad boy at the back slammed a 3 kilo within the first 10 minutes. We let it rest for a little bit. Came back again, and he's just banged another one of about 1.2, 1.3. So right now, things are happy in this boat. But we've got some work to do still, and this wind does not look like it's going to play the game. But all around, generally fairly happy. I wouldn't mind another 2 kilo in the boat right now. That'd do me a lot of good. Might be a little bit more sheltered around that corner.
It's a bit rough out there, so we came scuttling back.
What a couple of scaredy cats.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a rat, that's a keeper. That's a keeper, Doug's. That's the 5th one, bud.
Yeah, so maybe you can feel the bite in this wind. The top of bottom gravel that we found here, we were going down the bank with the wind, drifting, and you feel nothing. You can feel your bait moving, but there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden you start feeling little sharp bumps. And that's the coarse gravel and broken chunk rock. And as soon as we hit it, we had 2 bites, one after the other, and we missed both of them because we're both pineapples. But right now, what we're looking to do is to cull up, and if we can just fish this area a little bit, maybe change up baits a little bit or whatever, and try and find similar structure, then hopefully we can cull out those 2 smaller fish. Then we might be in with a good chance. But right now, I'm a bit sad. That was a nice fish that I missed. So, woohoo, get over it, move on.
As all teams fight the rough conditions brought on by the wind, let's take a look at the McChrystal Insurance Brokers tournament conditions. Weather conditions: partly cloudy with strong winds. Air temperature 15 to 30 degrees Celsius. Water temperature 19 to 21 degrees Celsius. Water conditions: stained brown throughout. Average depth of catches 3 to 20 feet. As the wind continues to cause uncomfortable fishing conditions, we join Grant and Garth of Team Goya Rough Thumb. With a limit in their live well, they fish in the back of a bay in search of bigger and better fish.
This thing's not... I'm going to have to stick with it.
Little luck, Grant.
Based on pre-fishing, we found a couple of key areas that were holding some really good fish. Although we did fish in full moon and right in the middle of the spawn, the pre-fish was really good. And because this dam is also part of the hydroelectric scheme here, our spots today had 2 foot to 3 foot less water on them than they did in pre-fishing. You know, so it made our first stops a little bit more tricky, although we did get some fish on them, but not the bigger fish that we were hoping to get on those spots. You know, and then when Grant came out second pre-fish, figured out that the fish had moved off the harder, rockier stuff and had now transitioned to more of the vegetation, the weed, so to speak. And that seems to have been our modus operandum the whole day. You know, we've just been running these these patches of weed, as you can see out here, down these pretty barren straight banks, and it's paid off for us nicely. We've caught some really good fish. Caught numbers. We've got quantity and quality, which has been, for a change for us, it's been good fun. Bring that thing to the net, dude.
There we go.
Slowly.
There's a giant. Wait. You ready? Let's go. That's it. Finally.
That'll crank us up to 9.5 kilos, bro.
I don't know, dude. I reckon he's a 1.7.
1.8, yeah.
What we must do is we must leave this, we'll continue this drift, and then we'll roch out of here, and then come back.
Yeah, let these fish reload a bit.
Some of the bites have just been no-brainers. They've just killed the bait, but other ones have been very subtle. But I think they're eating the bait nicely. It's just obviously in Hurricane Katrina here, it's quite difficult to detect when they've chowed it. And then by the time you've woken up, you know, you're telling yourself it was a soft bite. Meantime, you just couldn't feel anything. But generally speaking, they are biting quite freely. Fish.
Yeah.
That's a big fish. That's a big fish. It's a giant. Oh, what a net job.
That'll cull
Put it there, my brother.
That'll cull something.
I'm about to lose my pole.
That'll cull some weight for the boys.
Alright, so that's the smallest oak there. Probably about a 1.5 or so. That's it. We've racked up a pretty solid limit. When I say solid, not solid enough to win, but definitely solid enough to get a top 10, maybe a top 8 or so. If we can just get one more decent fish, I'm talking a 2, 2.2, 2.3, I think we'll definitely then be top 5 and we'll 100% cement our position on top 10. Anything other than that, we can't do. So we're just going to give it the last 2 hours, we're going to give it horns and see what comes of it. That's that.
Moving across the dam, we join the current leaders, Team Yamaha SHO Rapala. With the top 10 chasing them down today, they fish hard to defend their lead.
Good fish.
Done.
We got to the spot that we wanted to go to first, so that was alright. Straight off the bat, we got into fish. It wasn't as fast as what it's been in practice. Martin got a good one on a rattle trap, but it shook off, and we fished around the area and that, and we knew the fish were there, but we just couldn't get them to bite. And then very quickly we changed over to plastic, and they were loving it. You just threw that thing in the water, a few seconds they were on. Problem we were having though is they were so quick to get the bait. As you take up the slack in your rod tip, the fish they were already moving off of it. But nevertheless, we got them on the boat, and the biggest one was about 2.4, let's say, somewhere around there. We managed to fill out our limit on the first spot, and then we've just been hopping from spot to spot trying to upgrade the bag. That fish there that you just see now was quite a nice fish in the bag, but we're looking for let's say 2 more good fish, and then I'll say we'll be happy, and then anything after that is a bonus. But if we can get 2 more bass of around 2 kilos or more, I think it's a fairly good day.
BETT is proudly brought to you by McChrystal Insurance Brokers, an authorized financial service provider.